On today's show, we're buzzing. We're buzzing with excitement about Cooper Flagg. He's going to bring so many things to Dallas. What are the most important things and the most exciting things? We'll tell you on today's Locked On Mavs. All right, I got Mark Tatum back up.
I mean, if we get top two, that's insane.
Fourth pick is the Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh,
okay.
oh my God.
Okay.
Stop it. Stop. The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great,
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't believe
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, covering the Dallas Mavericks for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs your first listen. Joining me today, the eternal optimist from Mavs TV, the pre and post game host. Much easier to be the eternal optimist now, isn't it, Dana Larson?
Even the eternal optimist was not bold enough to believe this good fortune was about to happen. But I could not be more thrilled. And now we have so much good to talk about, Nick. And thank you for having me on, because I've been dying to talk about it.
Like I said, we're buzzing with excitement about Cooper Flagg. We'll dive into things that we're excited to see from him, just in general. We'll talk about the defensive pairing of AD, Flagg, and Lively. We'll talk about Cooper Flagg as an energy booster, what he can bring to this team on the court and off the court, and him playing without pressure, because I think he's going to have the least amount of pressure the number one pick has had in a little while here. But let's start here, Dana. Cooper Flagg is the complete package. This is something we were just talking about, and that so many have talked about, and so many scouts and people have said that he just has so many different skills and so many different things to bring to the table that I think it was Jonathan Gavoni said a couple of scouts were like, his floor is an NBA AllStar. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Great. What an incredible bar to be set, but what an incredible player to be bringing on the Mavericks. And one of the things I'm excited to see is how his offensive package kind of develops. And we're going to start to see some of that early on in the year. And one of the things is how he pairs with Anthony Davis, because I start to look at some of the last couple number one picks, and Victor Wembanyama came into the year for the Spurs. He was playing with like a 23-year-old Devin Vassell, no real vets on the team. Paolo Banchero of the Magic played with a 21-year-old Franz Wagner, no real vets on that Magic team. Cade Cunningham, go look at the roster that Cade Cunningham had around him in his rookie year for the Pistons.
That's right.
There's not many examples. Anthony Edwards with Karl Anthony Towns and some of the young guys that they had is kind of the only example we have recently of a player like Cooper Flagg that is as good as, as Cooper Flagg is going to be, playing with a guy like Anthony Davis. And that's something I'm excited to see.
And they've already played together. I mean, how wild is that?
Yeah, right.
We have actually seen a couple of highlights, right, of the two of them playing together in that U.S. select team practice last year as the teams were getting ready for the Olympics. And so now that video surfaces, and it's just so wild to see that they have played against one another already. And now we're going to see them together. And I think there was, this sort of early concern, maybe that concern may not be the right word, but I heard from some people that, well, how can they fit together? They're kind of the same position. Is that going to work? And it never crossed my mind, because Cooper Flagg is like the queen on a chessboard. He is the versatility, the mobility of the queen on the chessboard, right, makes it all powerful. Well, that is what he brings with his complete package, because he can play so many different positions. He can guard so many different positions. It's just a bonus, that he can now come in with these guys. And we heard Jason Kidd briefly talking about this here, I think here recently in some kind of quick media he did about for him to come into a situation where you're looking at an Anthony Davis and a Kyrie Irving and a Klay Thompson to be the vets on your team. Wow. You're not just putting the weight of a losing franchise on your shoulders. Instead, you've got a playoff caliber team with all of these future Hall of Famers around you that are just going to wrap their arms around you. They're complementary players. It's going to be a great youth / veteran, chemistry on the team. So to me, I think it's super exciting that you've got one of the best prospects in recent NBA history, being injected into this team that, once it gets healthy, and that's of course the thing we're going to say forever and ever, but there is just so much to get excited about with what he's capable of already at 18 years old.
Once Kyrie comes back, and if the starting lineup stays the way we think it's going to be, he'll start with every single player in the starting lineup will have won a title or have been to a finals.
Wow.
Lively, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and Kyrie Irving, right? And we're talking about multiple titles or multiple finals for Kyrie, Klay. Anthony Davis has been to and won a finals. Lively has been to a finals now. It is the experience that's going to be around him is immense. And we just have not seen that at all. Even going back to that Anthony Edwards team for the Timberwolves, he played with Cat. Cat was 25 years old on the Timberwolves. So he had been in the league for a number of years, but young Jaden McDaniels, young Naz Reid, a 24-year-old D'Angelo Russell. And then Ricky Rubio was their one vet, and he was 30 and he was good for the time. But that team, I think, won 25, 30 games or something like that in that year. And to see Cooper Flagg come into this team with Anthony Davis, I think is completely different than that team. This is Anthony Davis at the peak of his powers. And I'm curious to see how they play off of each other in the pick and roll, because I think that the Mavs are going to be searching for some offense here for a little while without Kyrie. We're hoping that they get another guard. That's the only rumor reported thing we've heard is that they're interested in a guard, which great. Good job, Mavs. That's exactly what you need. Good. But I'm curious to see how AD and Flagg play off each other. It's interesting that I have heard some of the people say, well, they play the same position. I disagree with that completely, because AD is a 4-5. He's like a power forward center, if you want to use those terms. Flagg is more of a 3-4 or even a 4-3, if you want to say that. So maybe they both play a 4, but they are very different 4. Flagg is an on the perimeter, handle the ball, better 3-point shooter, at least at this point in his NBA career than Anthony Davis was, for sure. And I think they'll play off of each other a little bit. I think we'll get some of that 3-4, 4-3 pick and roll where either of them can handle the ball, either of them can set screens, and it'll be clunky early on for sure, but I think they'll figure it out, and it'll be very interesting to see that play out.
Well, they're both super smart players, right? And of course, what Anthony Davis, and I'm not even coming in and comparing one to the other. Obviously, AD's got this incredible track record and all of these years playing at the highest level. But that's what is so amazing to me. That's another thing I'm so excited to see about Cooper Flagg is, we've watched him absolutely dominate, and as he should, high school level, and then come in and play, at the highest collegiate level. Because he's been ready for 2 years. They had to reclassify him because he was already ready.
He was too ready.
He was too ready, too early, and you've got a kid now. He just keeps growing too. He's 6'9". Yeah. His wingspan is over 7 feet, right? So it's this exciting thing now to see this combination of this athleticism, size, energy, youthful energy that he's going to have out there. But what he also has is just this incredible IQ already. He reads, he has great instincts. So for somebody like an Anthony Davis to be able to trust someone as young as Cooper Flagg will be to come in, I think he's going to prove to him really quickly, I can play off of you because you're reading all the same things I'm seeing. Like you said, it may be clunky early, but I just think he has shown such a high aptitude for the game already, and a great willingness to be a passer and to make the right read in those situations. We saw that at Duke too. So I think it could be, and it won't just be with Anthony Davis, but it's going to be with Lively. And it's going to be with Gafford too. And I think we might get to unlock that lob game with the bigs. And I think, there's going to be a lot of concern from the defense because you're going to have so many guys who can play out on the perimeter, bigs who can be out on the perimeter, who can pass, or down low. And there's going to be a lot to try to be, strategizing against.
Yeah, we've kind of been searching for, all right, they have these lob bigs, even Anthony Davis, Lively, and Gafford, obviously. How do you take advantage of that? And they didn't really have a playmaker at the end of the year that could take advantage of that. And Cooper Flagg is that. Like that is one of the things he's known for, is that he is a good playmaker, good passer, can work with another big. And so that's the thing I'm definitely excited to see. Another thing I'm excited to see is the defense. The defensive side of it is probably more exciting than the offense. What is Anthony Davis, Flagg, and Lively's ceiling as a front court? I think it's the best in the NBA, and I'll tell you why coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Car Guru. If you're shopping for a car, it should be exciting. We're talking about Cooper Flagg, and that's exciting. Car buying should be that exciting. You're getting something, you're bringing something into your world. You're bringing in a new car, and you're excited about everything that it can do, all the different settings and things like that. But there's so many options. There's so many different things. It's not like you have the number one pick and you get to decide, like there's just one obvious one. There's over 4 million listings on Car Guru. They have more new and used cars than any other major online marketplace in the US. Their verified dealers provide real price analysis and give you the tools and data you need to make the right choice without second guessing yourself. Check it out. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Guru is the number one most visited car shopping site. Go check it out. They have the price drop alert, which is great too. If you like a car, you can mark it, and then it'll tell you when the price goes down. Buy or sell your next car with Car Guru at carguru.com. Go to carguru.com. Make sure your big deal is the best deal. CARGURUS.com. Carguru.com.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, what we call our listeners. We appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show and listening. We're here every day throughout the offseason and multiple times a day right now. So go check out all the bonus episodes and things like that, and subscribe. YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on any of those platforms. We appreciate it. Maybe not on YouTube. There's not a 5-star feature. You just be looking for it for a really long time. Maybe YouTube Music has it. I actually haven't looked if they have it. We're here at Dana Larson talking about things we're excited to see from Cooper Flagg. And for me, I start to look at the defense first because he's known as a defensive prospect. He's known as a guy that is just a lockdown defender. I keep going back to Rafael Barlow, Locked On NBA Big Board, who we'll have on later this week, talking about how he's the most dominant defensive high school prospect he's ever scouted or seen. And Rafael's been doing this for a long time, seen a lot of high school players. Like, I feel bad for him, how much high school basketball he's watched in the last years that I've known him. But I think the Anthony Davis, Flagg, Lively front court is going to rival these front courts of the Chet Hartenstein, Lou Dort, the Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, the Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels. I think it's going to rival that because Anthony Davis is that good. He's one of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates. Lively, we already know is that good, can defend on a finals level, which is wild to even think about. And then you bring in Cooper Flagg to that core, who may end up being the best defender of all of them, which is like an insane thing to say because of how good Anthony Davis is. But that's what we're talking about when we talk about a prospect like this.
Well, and he may be one of those guys who was literally put on this earth to defend. Like, it feels like that was what this guy was born to do. And the other reason I love to think about that, like, he loves it, right? Like you have to love defending. He's got a relentless motor, and it's really hard. I'm sure as a high school prospect who's really good at everything, not to just get wrapped up in the scoring, right? That's what gets you all the attention, all the likes, all the viral videos. Well, look if you just want to look up Cooper Flagg online, how much comes up, and it's like a chase down block. It's like a help side block. It's a steal that turns into a fast break in transition dunk. So much of the highlights we see of Cooper Flagg, though, are defensive based. And that's what's so cool, because he knows that this is what he does, like, at an absolute elite level already. He is a dog. We have heard that word described. It's the competitive fire in him. He's a killer out there. And he's a killer defensively, which is why you're so excited. Because he is so athletic, there's so much he can do defensively out on the perimeter with smaller, shiftier guys, or even, at the rim, protecting the rim. Like, he moves so well, and he's got great instincts, and he plays all the right angles defensively, that it's really difficult to get good shots off against him. And he like loves it. And that's what's so exciting, is it's going to be so much fun to watch him just dig in on the defensive end and try to prove, like, I can do this with the likes of Anthony Davis out here.
I'm going to say this and it's going to sound like an insult, and it's actually a big compliment. You have to be a little crazy to be a really good defender. You think about some of the best defenders we've seen in the NBA, Draymond Green.
Okay, yeah.
Little crazy. Like,
maybe.
Rudy Gobert. Maybe a little crazy. Maybe look Patrick Beverly. Like, you just think about some of these defenders.
Dennis Rodman. I'll throw that one out there. Great rebounder.
Great one. Kawhi Leonard, little crazy in a different way. You just like have no idea what's going on in his head at any given moment. You heard the laugh in Toronto. Like, there's just something about that you've got to just be a little off. And I think that Flagg has that in a way where he's just so determined and so
determined.
Crazy in some of the stories that Isaac told last week from some of the things that we've read about how he was in a scrimmage and like got his nose broken and then wanted to come back into the game and came back into the game because he just wants to play so badly. And to have that little craziness, I think, lends itself to the defensive end. And I just think that trio is going to be so good defending because they're all three rim protectors. And then Anthony Davis and Flagg obviously can defend out on the perimeter. Lively can defend out on the perimeter a little. And if you're going to hunt Lively, which is what we saw teams try to do at the end of the season, you're going to try to hunt Lively. You're going to have Anthony Davis as a back line. And then Cooper Flagg, one of those guys, is going to be able to roam around and be the freelance, free safety and just running around at a certain point in the defense and the Mavs, the way that they rotate. And like, that's kind of a frightening scenario because once you get past Lively, you think you're home free. And then all of a sudden, here comes the huge paw of Anthony Davis or Cooper Flagg coming either in front of you or behind you in some way.
Yeah, it is going to be extremely daunting to take on those guys. And what I love so much is how the Mavs want to play, how Jason Kidd wants his team to play, which is, of course, the defensive end of the ball first, and then get out in transition. And that's another thing that he does so well for a big, the way he runs, the way he finishes. So there is just so much of that is going to lend itself into, it feels like kind of that, dig in defensive team, but also get out there, high paced, high octane offense, because you can make them pay with the way this guy is built. He runs full court like Giannis. I mean, so he can, it feels like when he gets a ball and he's gone in two strides, and with his length, I mean, it's just amazing the different guys. And we keep throwing out huge superstar names as comparisons for him, but there's like little bits of all these guys that you feel like you see in him when he's out there.
Yeah, the transition aspect is something that's really interesting. They were looking for that guy all last year after Derrick Jones Jr. left, Josh Green left. Like, they missed some of those like run out and go get a bucket in transition guys. And Cooper Flagg is absolutely that. They need to work on the outlet game and figure out, all right, as soon as you get a rebound, Lively, Gafford, Anthony Davis, PJ, whoever, as soon as you get that board, you're out looking for Cooper Flagg, and you're going to hit him on that like half court, full court pass or whatever, because he's going to be out there, and he's going to catch some bodies too, because he's not afraid. And that's something.
No, he is not.
I'm definitely excited to see on the defense a little. The blocks. Orlando led the league in blocks last year with 6 a game. That was the number one. The Mavs in Mavs history, twice they have had 6 blocks in a season, like 6 blocks a game in a season as a team, and that's the most in Mavs history. 2005, 2006, Deshaun Diop, Eric Dampier, Dirk, they all average a block a game. Then 2000, 2001, going all the way back to that, Sean Bradley with his 2.8, Dirk Nowitzki, and then like 15 games of former Nuggets GM Calvin Booth averaging two blocks a game on that team. But those are the most blocks in Mavs history. Can this crew eclipse that and get more than 6 blocks a game, lead the league next year, and be the most in Mavs history?
That would not surprise me. I mean, it would not. That's a very realistic goal. It seems like absolutely that is out there. Why not? And not only will that, you just get in players' minds, right? When it gets so hard to drive, it gets so hard to finish. It just, even if you're deterring shots, right? We hear that all the time too. Like if you're just making it difficult, you're making guys second guess getting inside like that. I mean, I don't see why not. Let's go for it.
I just thought that was wild. That the number one block. I think it could be an issue where you are deterring too much and just nobody goes to the rim against the Mavs and they're like, all right, well, I'm just not gonna go. And then that lowers your block amount. Like Rudy Gobert's never been a high block guy because so many teams, we even saw it in this last series where like Steph Curry or whoever, Jimmy Butler or whatever Warrior player would just like look at the rim, see Rudy Gobert there and just like kind of turn around, just decide not to go straight to the rim. But
I'd rather shoot this three. Yeah.
But we saw what this team is capable of in just that, to not drop a Nico Harrison line, but in those 2.5 quarters against the Rockets, we saw what they're capable of blocks wise. Now you're adding Cooper Flagg to that group, which is absolutely wild, which is why I think one of the most underrated things about Cooper Flagg coming into the Mavericks is him as an energy booster. How is he going to boost this team, this franchise, and everyone? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Skims. When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. And then they sent me a pair of Skims underwear, and I loved it. The boxer briefs, they fit great. They hold their shape. They don't have I don't have the problem with the elastic band like flipping over and things like that. And their line offers something for every single person. And as soon as I had tried it, I was like, all right, I need some more. So I bought some more. You can get some for yourself as well. You can check all the different kinds of designs they have, perfect balance of comfort and style. They have stuff for women, obviously, too. That's how they started it. That's probably how you've heard of Skims before. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com/lockedonnba and Skims stores. They got retail stores as well. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey. Then select our show, Locked On NBA or Locked On Mavs, in the drop-down menu that follows. Skims, the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball. Skims Men's at skims.com/lockedonnba.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, Dana Larson, we're talking about things we're excited about seeing with Cooper Flagg. It's an endless amount. We can do like 8 episodes of this, I feel like, that we can do. And we can do that because Cooper Flagg is bringing a bunch of energy back to the Mavericks and to a bunch of Mavericks fans. And I'm going to out a Mavericks fan here right now that I think he'd be okay with me saying this.
Uh-oh.
Our friend, the Chicken Man, if you guys know, he's on Twitter and he's at a lot of Mavs games and things. He was at the front of the line of the protest holding signs up. I saw him at a Wings game recently, and he was wearing his Paige Beckers jersey, and we had a great time watching that game. And I just looked at him and I said, "You back?" And he just looked back at me. He said, "I'm back." And I just think that we're going to see more and more of these fans come back to the Mavericks because Cooper Flagg obviously gives you that kind of hope, gives you that kind of excitement for this team. And he's just going to be an energy booster to everybody on the court and off the court.
And you know what? I'm not going to judge. Come back. I'm here with open arms, welcoming anybody back. We understand what everybody went through, and everybody has to do what they have to do. But come on back, because this is going to be really, really fun. And I am so excited to just have that, just the Mavericks good vibe back in the city. I had a pit in my stomach for all these months over just, how much this franchise has meant to this town and these people and these fans and to me and to my, my family and to you, and you just didn't want to see it go through what it had gone through. So to have this now, to have these good feelings back, to go, I couldn't wait. The day after the lottery pick, we get the number 1 pick. I went into the Mavs offices and just looked around at all those amazing people who work so hard at their jobs. And the phones were ringing off the hook. and they were skipping through the halls, and Rick Welts, the CEO, is flying back in from Chicago, and he's holding the card.
Has he set down the card yet? Every picture
he
and video I see of him holding the number one card, like
he did long enough for every single one of us to get to hold it and take a picture too. So there was a parade of employees, getting to hold it and just feel that goodness again, right? So I'm just so happy for Mavs faithful and for the hardworking, super talented Mavs employees to just be able to spend, this summer knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that there are good things ahead. And in just that one moment, he has energized all of it. To your point of energy giving, the city feels it. We all feel it.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild.
I know.
The turn of events.
Insane.
That has happened. Did Rick Welts say how they rigged it? Like, did he?
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
I've been telling so many, I've talked to so many people, obviously, that are like fringe or like on the edge of NBA fan and just kind of know about it tangentially. And they're like, so it was rigged, right? And I was like, if it was rigged, I'm fine with it. Like, I'm okay with it. That it was rigged in my favor. Like, I'm good at that sense.
That's all. That's right. That's all I keep saying. It's all good.
If it was,
all good.
I think, though, obviously the energy of all of us and everybody covering the team, or people that obviously work in the front, like work in the offices, like you said. But I think the energy boost can be on the court too, because this Mavs team especially feed off of the emphatic plays, the hustle plays and the emphatic plays of a block and a dunk. And we talked about the blocks. Those are going to be there. He's going to be excited to defend. I was just thinking about that play the other night in the game 7 of Nuggets versus Thunder, where Alex Caruso just like trapped. He trapped Christian Brown in the corner, and the Thunder bench just goes nuts and the whole crowd goes nuts because they're so excited to see him defend at that level. There's something about a defensive play like that can energize and give a boost to a team and a crowd the same way that like a really great 3 can. And Cooper's going to bring all those kind of plays.
Well, for sure. And then he's also going to have the swagger after he makes the play, that you're going to love to see, because for all of the sort of maybe quiet, unassuming personality we're probably going to see from him off the court, it is night and day when that kid is on the court. And so he is going to make that play and he's going to flex in your face. He is not going to be intimidated in any way to do any of this in game 1. Like in his NBA debut, this will not be a kid that will be intimidated or afraid to do any of that. And he will feed off of that crowd and he will give it right back. And that's what the other thing that's so amazing about him to me is just the amount of confidence that he has already. And he said he'd never felt more confident in his game than after he did those summer workouts with Team USA.
I bet.
And I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, you're going to step out onto this court knowing you belong here and that you're ready. So for that, I mean, that's what's going to be so fun, is just to see that confidence, that swagger. He'll make those big plays and the crowd's going to go bananas.
What a rare thing to have a number 1 pick. Because I have seen some comments that are like, well, come on, we don't know. He's not a sure thing in the NBA. And yeah, there is a level of you're not sure. But how many draft prospects have we seen that have actually played against NBA talent, and not just NBA talent, like Team USA level NBA talent, and have held their own? I shared a video that I saw to the text line listeners. Check the link in the description for that. And it was all the different all-star players or like NBA players reacting to Cooper Flagg playing in that scrimmage.
Okay.
And like Kevin Durant saying, yeah, like he belonged out there, and hearing different people like that talk about how good he looked. Like they were shocked to see how good he was out there. There's clips of him. He hit a shot over Anthony Davis and he dribbled against Drew Holiday. And you're like, that's like 2 of the hardest things you can do in the NBA.
And what I actually got my attention too was he was asked to watch those highlights back and describe them. Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, but I actually wrote it down because I was dying. He was talking about going one-on-one basically with Anthony Davis. And he's like, yeah, I just sized up AD, and when his hands were down at his knee, I knew I had to shoot over him. Like, just that simple. And then he's talking about Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders in the NBA. And he's like, well, I had the size advantage on Drew. And I gave him a little shimmy shake and the floater over the top of him. And I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Like, he's a student of the game. He's been following these guys. He's obviously knows everything about all of the superstars in the league. And he is so smart and so confident. It's really a wild combination of all of the things: the size, the skill, the confidence, the swagger, the motor, motor, the competitive fire. It's going to be really something else.
I'm curious to see if he plays in Summer League, because I think that's something to be excited about as well. When I started to think through all the different steps, all right, well, how far are we away from seeing him actually play? And I think he will play in the Summer League if all these things that we've been talking about and hearing about and reading about are still true about him, and the Mavs don't hold him out for whatever reason. I think he will play, and I think that'll be a fun time, because we'll get to see him work out some things. We'll get to see him play against next level from college talent. And I think that's gonna be an exciting time for Mavs fans too, because a lot of people are gonna be there just to see him.
I mean, it's how Summer League is not usually the most exciting, highly anticipated thing, but we were excited when Wemby, when we could get a look at him and any possible games. We'll be dying just to get little nuggets and pieces of things. And if he's at Summer League, it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, let's see, from Summer League, we're 51 days away.
Feels like forever. It feels like forever to the draft still at this point.
I know. What are we from the draft? We're from today. We're 36 days away or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's some time for sure to be excited, to be excited about more things. So keep checking back on Locked On Mavs. Dana Larson, if you watch a Mavs game, you'll see Dana Larson at some point. So
I can't wait to get the season going. But I'm going to be at the draft too, by the way. I'm also super excited about that. So on Mavs TV, on the Mavs TV app, on Studio 41 content, we're going to be at the draft, me and Devin Harris. So we'll have a lot of good stuff straight from New York. Can't wait for that.
What's Devin Harris up to these days? Do you think he can still play? Could he give him some minutes? Could he give him some minutes?
They could have used him at the end of last season.
Oh my gosh, he should have just suited up.
Yes, and he could have. He always says, "I got 10 or 11 in me." I was like, more than enough. That's more than enough.
Could definitely use that right now. Thanks for hanging out with us. Go check out all the great stuff in the links in the description and our text line. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.